Woohoo! It worked. We're live. Of course, not in the Facebook group because that just seems to be impossible now, but we're live on YouTube and on my personal profile on Facebook. So, welcome, folks. And hey, Monique, you are definitely wow. You're 3 minutes early. I also scheduled it and got it ready early, which I don't always do, so that helped. It does require me to actually have my stuff together. Get everything done on time. But I did. I made the event. I got the post all ready for the group. It's like I'm all grown up or something like that. Um, and hey, Victoria and Witchy Chicks, how you doing? Are you two chicks or just one chick at present? I'm always curious about plural names like that. How many chicks are you at the moment? So yeah, I hope folks are doing well. Oh, there you go. When's the book come out, Monique? Hey, Charlie. I got to bop while I wait for the answer from Monique because I'm curious. So I got can't have dead air, right? That's bad. I got to keep talking. I got to keep moving. So I'll just bop to the music in my head, which, as it turns out, right now is all the single ladies. I don't know why, but Beyonce's in my noggin. That's what's going on. Um, but yesterday in the Q&A that we were doing for our Facebook ads course that we're teaching, one of the people actually had the question what do you think about the way things are right now? So that's one of the things I want to talk about today. Oh, wow, April 25th and then one next Thursday. Nice. Way to go, Monique. That's a lot. Hey, Tim. Um, and I thought that would be an interesting conversation, broader conversation for today. I didn't talk about it too much yesterday in the Q&A, but I thought it'd be good to discuss here because I think it is a question that everybody is kind of grappling with at the moment. I see a lot of people talking about seeing a decrease in sales and worrying that that's from people not buying books on Amazon. It's people boycotting Amazon. Um, but to be honest, I'm not seeing a massive dip across the board for the number of authors that I'm working with. I do see a little bit of it here and there. And I would say that March didn't start particularly strong. I'm seeing a lot of people picking up now mid-March though in their reads and sales. Um, I think people who are doing boycotts are being perhaps a little bit more pragmatic in some regards, where they're well, I'm going to decrease what I buy from certain places, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy anything, uh, which sort of is a natural progression of a boycott. I do think that probably most of us are certainly holding off on larger expenses right now. Um, and I suspect that's going to have a pretty strong effect as well. But what does it really mean for authors, and how do we deal with it? Because even if you're not seeing a significant decrease that you might attribute to a boycott right now, you're still thinking well, what if it does come? Or you've got a launch coming up and you're is this a good time to launch a book or not? There's it adds a lot of questions and uncertainty to what is already a fairly uncertain career. So look, I'm trying not to have it stuck in my head forever, Monique. You've just got it there in the chat. Every time I glance at the chat until it scrolls up, it's going to start playing in my head again. Hey, Yasmin, how are you doing today? So yeah, it's a lot to consider, and I'm my crystal ball is currently in the shop, so I don't have the exact answers, but I have been at this for a little while. I think a few of you probably have been as well. Jill and I first published in 2012, so we've been in the mix now for 13 years, and a solid 12 years of actually making noteworthy money. The first year for both of us, it was kind of oh look, we got a couple $100 from doing these books. We might have maybe paid off our editors. And starting around 2014, 2015, 2014 for her, 2015 for me, we actually started to get some actual traction with our books and actually see sales and stuff like that. So we've been at this for a bit. We've been full time since the beginning of April of 2017. I almost said April. Um, And we've seen a lot of ups and downs, in the industry, for ourselves. And one of the things I think I think the only constant in publishing is that it's always in flux. There's always something changing. There's always a new way of getting the word out there that works better than the old way, or the old way suddenly starts working better than the new way. Amazon changes a rule, and like a major system that we were using to get our books out there and do things stops working. USA Today and New York Times bestseller lists, one stops existing and the other stops taking indie authors. Well, they did stop taking indie authors, stop taking anthologies, is what they did. So there's always things that are in flux like that, and for us, it's really a matter of like being flexible and possibly we need to be a little bit less all of our eggs in one basket-y. I think that's something that a lot of us are coming to grips with. Tired, hate DST. Oh, daylight savings time. I've seen a bit of a dip in sales. Yeah, I think there was, for a lot of people, are seeing like not a plummet, but like there was an early March dip. But there's also been an early month dip for a lot of people since November of last year. It's been somewhat consistent, so there is that too. Cindy said, "Want to let you know something I'm trying for short money. Dave Chestnut can recommend an AI Amazon ad program. I listened to the video time for a free month yesterday. All right, cool. That sounds awesome. I mean, worth trying, as long as it's not like a huge expense or something like that." Then I saw a Facebook ad that took me aback this morning. It was an MMP&R, and right in the image something like, "Read while it's still legal to." I should put this one up, because I forget we got people in multiple watching the stream from multiple places. That's I don't know how to react to that. A part of me wants to say that's sensationalizing, but Texas is currently trying to pass a law to make it illegal to be trans. So who the fuck knows, right? Yeah, that's I think that's valid, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not making that up, by the way. And they're also trying to seize green cards from people. There's people coming from Germany that have green cards, and they're trying to get them to renounce or surrender their green card. That one I don't have a ton of details around. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's an uncertain time, that's for sure. Being trans and an immigrant, a little bit nervous about that kind of nonsense. But yeah, it's I think at a certain point, starting to include the times that we're in our marketing, it seems kind of valid, to be honest. And I don't think we should sensationalize, at least not excessively. And we might, you want to make sure that like the reader can have some sort of positive emotion interacting with your ads. So readable is still legal to, like, there's like an element of that where you can like get it now, so you can still get it, versus like if the ad was like, I'm everything's going terrible, I don't know, something bad has happened to me because of XYZ, please buy my book. Like, obviously that's a very extreme example, but that's not really going to work that well.
Motion detected at garage camera.
Thank you, Alexa. Regarding the Amazon AI thing, next month when they charge me, it'll be $39 by having helps their AI created ads work or not, called Publishing Performance, I think, from New Zealand. The weird thing about Amazon ads is that, provided your keywords are set up well for your book, automatic ads just kind of work. So I'm kind of curious why. I'm curious what an AI platform would do. I'm almost, for $39, I should almost sign up for that, just see what they do, just see if it's like anything noteworthy in their ad creation. Yeah, LL, I'm not surprised. Like, I definitely have been seeing a dip. The other thing that's been happening over the last like 3 to 4 weeks is I'm starting to see a cost increase on ads again, which is such a bummer because they were so expensive last fall, and they finally dipped in January again, and I was quite happy, and now they're climbing again. And I do wonder if some of that is because either people are boycotting Facebook, or they're maybe just not spending as much time on Facebook because it might be depressing, which means Facebook will just charge more money to whoever still is it'll charge you more money per click so that they get enough money. They get their earnings. That's good. And Yasmin, I'm glad that your Amazon ads are still giving you results. And also worth noting, possibly tomorrow, if not, it'll be on Monday, we will get the rate for February. And the last 9 years in a row, the February KU rate has gone up. Not tremendously, but by like from like 0.42 to 0.45 cents per page kind of thing. So not like not something to write home about, but noteworthy. So your February numbers may squeak up just a bit if you're a KU heavy author. I'm also trying publishing performance at $39 a month. It's worth a try. Yeah, that sounds awesome, Stan. I think your thing with that, when I was looking at your AMS ads as well, like you actually have a pretty good start. Because a lot of them were newer than I thought they were when I got to like look at the graph and kind of dig into the numbers. And I feel like in your case, it's just going to be a matter of like showing Amazon that you can get sales, and then they will start showing your ads more, and going wide with a bunch of ads is one way of doing that. And if this platform can help create more ads for you without a lot of effort, that's also great. So, woohoo, that works. Rachel just sent me a link. Wasn't sure what it was, if it was relevant to this or not. So that's part of it, I think. But another thing I think is that we might need to start changing the way that we do our ad creative. And like going back to Linda's example here that she saw, you could go with this sort of thing, because one of the things that does work when I don't know LL. I've not looked it up at all yet. She was asking about publishing performances in the chat. But one of the things that always works for getting people to buy books, mostly, it depends a little bit on the subject of the book, is making the reader outraged. And this is like not like, mind-bendingly new information or anything like that. Outrage media has been around forever. And there's a psychological reason for this, by the way. There's a reason why we're attracted to bad news, why we spread bad news more, and why we weight bad news more. There's a reason why if 15 people tell you that you look really cute today, and one person says you look like dog shit, there's a reason why that one person is going to stick in your mind more, why you're going to remember that one more. And the psychological reason is tied to anthropological stuff. It's that back when we were hunter-gatherers, the people who paid attention to bad news or were looking out for bad and dangerous things survived, and the people that were, happy-go-lucky, skipping through the field, ignoring the fact that it was filled with rattlesnakes, died and didn't reproduce. So, the person like who could spot the aggressive creature in the bush face. It's actually why we're also really good at spotting faces. Who could spot the aggressive creature in the bush that might attack and kill them, or the dangerous bit of ground or something like that, survived, and the ones who didn't. And then those people would say like, hey, I saw this thing, look out, it's really dangerous. And those people survived. And the ones who didn't share information, who were in groups of people where bad news wasn't shared, didn't survive. So we actually bred ourselves kind of through natural selection to be, aware of danger and to share news of danger, and the groups of people who do that the most survive. So that's one of the reasons why we weight bad news more than we weight good news, and give it more credence, which makes our psychological states kind of tricky to manage sometimes. All right, what are you guys talking about? It's a scare tactic, though. Is it a scare tactic, though, Linda? I guess it's outrage and or scare tactic, but exactly how, like if you said to me a year ago that they're going to try to ban gay literature, I would have laughed and said that's ridiculous. But they are literally trying to make being trans illegal in California. Yesterday, the President of the United States posted, I think on Truth Social, I don't think it was a tweet, I think it was on Truth Social, an image with Nazi symbolism in it. And the Nazi symbolism wasn't like, this is bad Nazi symbolism. It was using Nazi symbolism to make his point. And, and the symbol that they used was the upside down pink triangle. The upside down pink triangle is what the Nazis made queer people wear, and they were the first people that were put into the concentration camps. And what's also worth noting is that when the liberators came and they let everybody out of the concentration camps, they put the people with the pink triangles back in the concentration camps, and their nightmare continued. So, and that pink triangle is the symbol that the president used, and with a no symbol on it in the context of a military post. Well, like no, basically saying no queers in the military, but use the pink triangle for it. So I don't know how scare tactic-y a comment about read well it's still legal about romance is. Um, it's outrageous that we're in this situation, but I don't know that it was that much of a scare tactic. Like I think there's actually some truth to that, or there could be. Things could things could go away down a path that could make that actually be the case. At least for people in the United States. For those of us that are getting the fuck out of the United States, it'll be hopefully a little bit different. I'm not sure what this is in reference to. I thought that was a New York thing. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm Canadian. Lived there until I was 23, 22, 23. So I reached the why the hell am I still in the United States phase of my life. Um, so so I don't want to make this too much about like it's tricky, right? Because I don't want to talk about politics, but politics are very much influencing what we're doing right now as authors. But so outrage has always worked, and outrage works because sharing news of danger works, and fear works because we are those people who spot danger and avoid said danger survive, and we're all wired for that because we're all the descendants of people who spotted danger and survived, and shared news of danger so that the rest of the tribe survived. And so that kind of marketing does work. Personally, I don't like just leaning entirely into the negative though. Like I like sending messages of hope and renewal and stuff like that because I do believe that that's sort of despite current problems, the overall arc that the human race is on. Um, so what I plan on doing is I'm actually doing some educational ads for people. They're just going to talk about how if you want to hurt Amazon, just read more books, basically, and stuff like that. Stuff I talked about last week, like how if you read someone in KU reads 10 books a month, they're actually going to start costing Amazon money after that. Um, Stuff like that. Stuff about how like you're supporting small businesses. Amazon takes a very small cut. In fact, Amazon takes, aside from the author going direct, Amazon takes possibly the smallest cut out of all. So um, if you buy, that is, if you read in KU, then the author gets even less. So yeah, this is fair. Just because it's a scare tactic doesn't mean it's incorrect and currently or even drastically overstating the situation. I would agree with that. Yeah. So that's something you can think about though. Like think about how you're doing your marketing. In our class, one person really leaned into the escapism element of their stories, and I have to admit, it was very appealing. Like the idea of escapism was great. And Jessica Rosenberg, who's a fabulous author, who lets me use her as an example and show her ads and stuff like that in these videos and stuff like that. Um, she's her whole shtick is escapism. It's like low stakes, low threat, cozy mysteries, no murders, um, and she's selling like hotcakes, which is funny because her stuff is all baking related. Um, so yeah. So let's keep going to pop back in the comments. Mrs. Tarp, I like to have people from March sale plummeting for no reason. Perhaps no reason doesn't take Trump antics into account. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a reason. When you say plummeting, though, I'm curious what plummeting means. Um, what I'm seeing is for people is something along the lines of like a 20% dip. Is sort of like average. 20% dip for the people who are dipping. There are people who are not dipping at all. I do think it is genre dependent. Like the more mainstream you are, the less you're seeing a dip. So there's that as well. So signed a contract Tantor to make audiobooks for this first 6 books of my cozy mystery. Last month in the advance, we'll make it for March. Well, that's really nice. Yeah, that's one of the great things. Like yes, you will make less money using someone like Tantor, but you don't have that expense at the beginning, which certainly is nice. I have a fair number of books with Tantor, and some of them are like 8 or 9 years old. I think the most recent stuff, I haven't done anything with Tantor in 5 years, I think, at this point. Um, and I'm still getting like $3,500 checks from them, which is pretty nice because I didn't have to do anything. Just money just shows up. Um, yes, that is not entirely incorrect. All right. Thought my sales improved in my Shopify store. People are going, Amazon, my sales are worse than previous months. Oh, that's rough. I think, I mean, I guess it must be uncertainty to a certain extent. That's something I'm going to try and like also advocate for. Like when I make some sort of reader awareness ads, I'm going to talk about how like you can buy direct from an author. That is the thing that's going to help them the most. If you want to keep these authors writing and not having to be in the bread line. Because I mean, if there's not social security, if there's no social services, is it just a bread line? I don't know. Buying their books direct is like the best thing you could do. That's not a bad idea, running sales on your direct sales shop. I like that. Dreading my next trip back, even if it's only for 3 days to the States. Yeah. I'm actually not entirely certain if I'm going to leave the States at all until I leave. Because I'm not sure how much I want to cross back across the border. Ironically, all of my border crossing documentation is still my old name, just because getting anything done by the INS, the Immigration Naturalization Services, is like a nightmare. So it's just like I'm just gonna let this thing ride with my old name on it, because my last renewal was like 2016 or something like that. So I've got like 2 more years of my green card. And then my passport in Canada is still in my old name, because to get everything changed in Canada, technically you have to have a Canadian psychiatrist sign off on it all. There's a way to do it with US psychiatrist. It required all sorts of hoop jumping. I just didn't do it. And so it's funny. So my birth certificate, my name is now changed to my birth certificate, but my gender is not. So my documentation is weird. However, my passport and green card still have my old name and old gender on them. So I could possibly boy mode it and cross the border, I guess. But like my eyebrows are tattooed on like this now. could I fake it and boy mode it across the border to get back to the United States? Would I vomit in my mouth having to do that? I'm not sure. I haven't tried to present mail since 2019, so I have no idea how successful that would be. But I'm not shaped like a male, you know. it would be it would be pretty hard. I mean, I could pull it off. I guess you wear sweats. I'd have to go buy sweatpants. We can't come across the border in latex or leggings or something like that and try to be like, hey, it's me, this other old name. Anyway, yeah, especially like, but like they've been detaining Germans for some reason lately coming to the United States. It's been kind of nuts, and they're like using like enhanced interrogation techniques on them and all sorts of crazy shit. It's really bizarre what's going on. It's a mad world. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk negative stuff, but like I said, it does apply to what we're doing. On a more positive note, I thought I saw this morning. I earned $4.95 Canadian on a $4.99 US sale. Really, the Canadian dollar's doing that well? What, really? I'm looking it up right now. I'm sort of blown away. No, it's 0.69. How'd you make that much money? $4.95 Canadian, $4.99 sale. That's weird. Yeah, because it's 0.6, and I want it to stay the way it is right now. I want 0.6, so that when we sell our house here, we're gonna have a lot of money to buy a house in Canada. Like, sorry, Canadians, can your dollar just stay low just to convenience me? People are doom scrolling more than they're reading escapist novels. My more sales are also in the tank. I've also read too many new ads that just never converted. Yeah, that is rough, Stacy. And that's one of the problems. If you run a lot of new ads, some of them are not gonna work. But so every new ad costs $50, give or take a bit, to find out if it's going to work or not. So if you run too many of them, yeah, you can eat your profits. Especially, I guess, if you don't have, if some of your old ads died and you don't have a bunch of good working ads right now, it can make for especially difficult times. That was something that we talked about yesterday when I was doing the Reels Q&A. I said to people, like, you could try all these different Reels. Just remember, every Reel costs you $50, not in the cost to make the Reel, but in the cost to run an ad and find out if it's going to work at all or not. So, do think about that when you're making a whole whack of Reels. Every one of these comes with at least a $50 cost attached to it. I don't think you were there, so I missed that. Okay, I'm just gonna. Oh, it's on my page. I'm like, why can't I get through the thing just to remove it? Anyway, I didn't mean to click on that one. I have no idea what it says. Now I actually want to I'll go look that up later. 50% dip, that's a plummet. Yeah, that is a plummet. That's odd because I have authors I work with in Cozy Mystery, and I'm not seeing that dip for them. But it could be a number of factors that are all kind of getting together. But yeah, I would be worried about that. I would be looking at, like, if I was running paid advertising, I'd be taking a really hard look at, are there paid ads that are working well, and are there paid ads that are soaking up money, and I yeet those and I try to make new ones that are making money. I consider doing a sale or a promotion of some sort, something to kind of help bolster things a little bit. Get in with like a bargain booksy, or if you have like something that you can do it for free that won't impact your major money earners, doing a free booksy or something. 60% ROI, losing money this month. Yeah, that's rough. That's definitely rough. I'm sorry. That's right. You're heading to Panama. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. I just realized right now that might be more than you wanted to share. Apologies. But yeah, that's one way to deal with it, right? You can live in Panama and even us in Canada, or to be able to like survive. I mean, we live in Massachusetts, which is not a cheap place to live. So moving to Canada, almost in Saskatchewan, that's not where we're going. It could be quite the thing. Maybe wear a ball cap. I think I still have a couple. I could possibly do that. Canada. Oh, that's right. I always forget. William's not in the States. He's in Canada. We're going. Actually, no. You live in Ottawa. I'm like, what if we can we work on a deal on your house there, William? But yeah, I don't want to move to Ottawa. It's way too cold there. We're just moving a little bit up the coast. I mean, that's still a really good ACOS, Yasmin, and that's like sort of within like what I would consider to be a natural fluctuation for ACOS. I 33% is absolutely fabulous. Well, how many books are in the series that you're getting that, or is that across multiple series? For those of you who aren't super familiar with Amazon, ACOS is average cost of sale. If your average cost per sale is under 100%, that means that it's costing you less money to advertise the book than it is to sell it. However, that sale number is retail, so you have to remember that you're only getting 60 to 70% or less if it's print of that sale. So it usually you have to be like around 60 to 40% ACOS to be profitable, depending on what your print to ebook mix is. And if you're in KU, and you have 100% ACOS, you're profitable because you're probably making, if you count read through and whatnot, your print book, your ebooks and print books alone are probably making up your cost, and then KU is all gravy. And that's just the book that's being advertised. It doesn't count read through, by the way, that ACOS number. That's just the initial sale number. So if you got a decent like series and you're in KU, ACOS of under 300% can be profitable. So if this is a longer series, 26 to 30%, 33% could be like tripling to quadrupling your money, which is pretty awesome. Vomit in your mouth if it keeps you safe. That's how I feel about it. It's kind of how I feel about it too, honey. Yeah, I am completely with you, Victoria. Hoping you can do that link. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, there's a lot of places I would love to move, but being that we're this queer little family, it does restrict where we could move to. Although we were looking, we brought up Portugal. So, Portugal. It's warmer than we are right now. That sounds awesome. Defensive on your name, so that does help. You'll get lower costs when you're defensive on your name. That's pretty cool though. 13 book series, and it's even among different portfolios. You're not in KU. All right, then that's pretty good. Yasmin has over 100 books out, so they're all on her defensive. They're all on her defensive ads. All right, but still, I mean, that means people are searching for you. I'm guessing that they're not just defensive, right? Like they're automatics that don't exclude you. So you're probably the lion's share. I'm just guessing. You're probably the lion's share of what people are buying from when they search your name and they click the ad and buy. But you're of course then making sure no one else can steal that top spot from you when people search for your name, and you're probably getting some other ones in the mix too, I'd imagine. So that's really good. So I do think though, like I was kind of going back to before, when we're making our ads, I think leaning into escapism, promoting escapism, promoting, if you have like low stress books, cozy books, I would actually be like structuring my ads around that right now. And even for people who write stuff like my stuff, like I don't know, like maybe I could like pimp like righteous retribution, or looking for a team in space. Like if I'm like trying to like just sort of like hook on warm nostalgic feelings, I could go with that instead. Like read ever thought of what the A team would be like in space? I have a series called Delta Team. Read Delta Team for some good laughs and some fun pew pew or something like that. I think that could actually that sort of marketing could work really well too. So do think about that. Think about how you got to break through the doom scrolling, like Stacy was saying that everybody is doing now, and grab them with something that's going to be like, hey, you can't spend all your time worrying. Here, have a good book. That kind of vibe. I think I remember you mentioning that you were thinking about that at one point. Yeah, I mean, self-targeted are always going to work best on Amazon. I mean, we're not super duper dystopian yet. We're working on it. I think the thing that's like the most scary for a lot of people right now is we don't know where it's going to end. Is it just gonna be like a few things that are gonna be done that are gonna make life like more difficult and maybe just set us back like a couple of decades, or is it gonna be like Handmaid's Tale level stuff? Like we don't know. We know that some people want it to go that far, so it does create a lot of uncertainty. And uncertainty is the thing that gets us the most, right? So you have to combat uncertainty by making a plan and making multiple plans, for what you do under different contingencies. Like when Jill and I have plans for what stage we would leave the country. Like, at what point do we just like pack our bags and boot? Like, what things have to happen before that happens? So, you kind of have to do that with your business too. Like, what are my plans? What are my contingencies, business-wise, personal-wise? And I think the thing that is rough too is like probably all businesses are going through this right now, right? Like, it's not just the writing business. It's like all the stores downtown in whatever town you live in are probably also facing the same sorts of things. It's pretty rough right now, but that doesn't mean that like the economy's only shrunk by what 2.8%. So it's not like people don't have the money; they're just scared to spend it. So if we can encourage them to spend it on something that we think will be mentally good for them, I think that's not a bad thing. I wrote no angst rom-com. Yeah, absolutely. So like no internal, is it like no internal conflict, just all external conflict? Because yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, something like that. Would you like to think about something else? Oh, now it's not showing. There we are. I think that sort of thing. That's actually not a bad way of saying it without diving into a bunch of the politics and stuff like that. Can someone explain how to set up a defensive ad? Do you only target your own books? The way that I normally do defensive ads is I'll make an automatic ad and I don't exclude myself from the automatic ad. So what that means then, if people search for me, I come up on top. And what happens generally is that that happens a bunch, and then Amazon starts to optimize for it, and like a solid percentage, possibly as many as half of the sales that are coming from the Amazon ad are people who are searching for you or your book names or something like that, and you're just sort of guaranteeing that you're going to get that top placement. And if you want to make a non-defensive version, then you go and you exclude yourself and your book titles from the search so that you don't come up. So I think, I remember from when I looked at your ad, Stan, I don't think any of them were excluding you. So they are kind of effectively defensive as well. Chris says, I write rom-com, so that's a good escape. Yeah, would you focus on escapism in the ad copy and the ad image? Both. I would put it in both. And the other thing too, this is like one of the trickiest things, but when you write rom-com, make sure that not just the image says rom-com. There's got to be something funny in the text, something quirky, something ironic, something funny in the text something in the text has to signal rom-com very clearly. Otherwise, it's not going to work super duper well. Yeah, when I run, so Jill mentions this, that you can target your author name and your titles. That would be if you're doing keyword ads. Automatic ads, I was talking about automatic ads. They kind of just sort of become defensive, is what I was getting at. You can make keyword ads that just exist just to target yourself. And I've done that too, but I mostly just run automatic. And I'll have automatic ads that don't have any exclusions, at least regarding me, and then automatic ads that do exclude me. And then so that those end up being my defensive and non-defensive ads. Oh, yeah, it's using need and escape for reality as the first line. There you go. I love it. Oh, wow. This today has flown. We're already 40 minutes in. I'm kind of, I feel like I don't want to keep beating on the drum of where we are in the world right now. I do think it is worth noting that people do continue to, when times are tough, invest in escapism. Lots of people built their careers during pandemic by offering sales, by doing free things, being like, hey, you might need something to read right now. Times are tough. Here's a free book, kind of thing. Like messaging like that. There's lots of different things you can do. Warren Buffett sold a lot of his stocks and put the money in alcohol instead, because apparently whenever things get tough, people buy a lot of booze. So people do still buy things. It's just the buying habits change, and we have to think about sort of how to be in the mix on that. And it may be that for some of us, we need to do more grassroots things, and less paid advertising. Think about ways that we can build awareness, we can build community, and then kind of get sales that way. It tends to be more work for the sales, but if you're worried about your bottom line and ROI, that's something to think about too. That you might be like, you know what, right now I can't do a lot of paid advertising. Maybe I'll do something to sort of keep the lights on, but I'm going to try and shift my focus to doing things like maybe I do like a free book seed and try to just drive awareness. And in my marketing, I can even say like, hey, this book, is discounted just to give you guys some free reads right now, and you might need the like sort of messaging like that versus just like, hey, it's free, grab it kind of thing. Oh yeah, of course, you always want to do that with AMS ads. As time goes on, you want to tune them and get rid of things that cost you money that never generate sales. Booze and toilet paper. Exactly. This reminds me of if you guys ever watched Supernatural, like 10 years before pandemic. Remember they finally met God on Supernatural, and he was just this bad fiction writer who like lived in his house and was kind of antisocial. And he mentions when he's talking about the apocalypse coming, he's like, buy toilet paper. There's never enough toilet paper in apocalypse. And it was so funny too, because then 10 years later, pandemic happened. It's like, wow, what did these guys know? Maybe it's like, I guess it's entirely possible that people elsewhere in the world have gone through hard times in toilet paper. So it's not like an unknown thing that toilet paper gets hard to find when stuff goes sideways. I'm trying to talk about toilet paper without using the word shit there as well. It's gonna be like shit goes sideways. No, I don't want to draw that with toilet paper in the mix. And then I just did. So you're welcome. Oh yes, Castiel. I missed that show. I've been thinking it's popped up on Amazon lately for Jill, and I've been thinking about maybe rewatching it. Patrick has a bum gun. That's what we did when pandemic hit. I'm just like, we're just getting bidets, enough of this nonsense. And now I'm just like, oh man, I'm in like a hotel or a restaurant. Like I gotta use paper like a savage. This is ridiculous. This is awful. Um, but I'm gonna jet. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully this was like at least marginally entertaining for all of you fabulous folks, because I have to teach the analysis class for our ad class in 20 minutes. I want to make sure I got my brain screwed on properly for that, get my windows open just right. Um, but it's I want you guys though to like we should none of us should be deluding ourselves that things are going to be just fine. But we also do keep in mind that there are ways to do okay when times are tough. Um, and it's unfortunately going to take a lot more elbow grease though. So we're just going to have to sort of like keep working at things, be thoughtful about how we're spending our money, where we're investing our time and energy in, and figure this out. Uncertain times never last forever, even though when you're in the middle of it, just by definition, it being uncertain, it feels like it might last forever, but they never do. So stability always comes back at some point. Oh, it's awesome. Just finished Buffy. Maybe sometime at some point, yeah. Yeah, that's sort of thing can be kind of tricky, can't it? It's kind of skippy. I don't know what we're going to use, but it's kind of skippy apparently. All right, folks. Yeah, go make them escapist ads. Hop to it. Look forward to seeing them. All right, folks. I will see you, some of you, in like 18 minutes, and I'll see others at later points, such as like next. Oh, there will not be a lunch. Well, there might be a lunch with Mel next Thursday. I'll be in New Orleans at Monica Leonel and Russell Nolte's Writer MBA conference. So depending on like what lunch looks like on Thursday, there might be a lunch with Mel. I'm going to try and do a live at some point. So if you see me pop up late next week, I'll be at that conference. It'll be fun. Yeah, exactly, Kristen. Exactly. All right, folks. I will see you in the future. Ciao. Have a good one.